So, hello to anyone who's going to watch this, or just myself for the most part. I am making, as the title suggests, a sort of uh, time by date update of how my journey in AJATT slash mass immersion will be going. So this is just going to be, for me, the most part. So this is just going to be a one take. It For anybody else watching, I'm sorry in advance. It's gonna be probably pretty painful, and this is just for me for the most part. But if anybody else obviously wants to watch it, they're welcome to. The reason why I'm sort of doing this, well, let me get into some talking points. So I wrote like a few talking points so that way I'm not just rabbit trailing and making no sense. So even for myself in a later date. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is where I'm at now, and then next I'll talk about where I want to be. I'm going to do the next video in about 3 months, and then the last one I'm going to talk about some gear and tools that I'll be using for anybody else who wants to really know. So where I'm at now. So the title might be a little bit misleading. This is not day one. I've been studying Japanese for a little bit. So I'll kind of go through that history. So I originally started learning Japanese when I had started a Japanese class in community college, and it was for the language requirement, of course. So I did 2 terms of it, not that long, but it did help me learn hiragana, katakana, and that's about it. Really not much more. A little bit of sentence patterns, and a little bit of vocabulary, but not a lot. After that, I took a break for a while. I didn't really do anything else. Didn't really watch that much media of it. Then I went to a site. Many of you might know what it's called. It's called WaniKani. And WaniKani is like a subscription-based kanji learning program, and I did that for a couple months. And I actually got pretty high, level 10, which is not that high. There's like 60 levels, but I did quite a bit of kanji and vocabulary, and it helped a little bit, but it really wasn't the greatest learning tool. I think there's better ways to it, and of course leads me to, after a bunch of different YouTubers I watched, kind of rabbit trailed into guys like TKO Sam and Matt versus Japan and stuff like that, where they're talking about AJAT and mass immersion approach of Japanese. So I thought, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do AJAT, and read a little bit of the AJAT table of contents, and started doing basically the beginning, which is immersing myself excuse me, in audio, Japanese audio, anything, as well as doing learning all the kanji. So I did James Heisig's Remembering the Kanji. So I'm actually a little bit I'm progressed a little bit in the AJAT, or the mass immersion thing, as far as Japanese. So I've completed volume 1 of James Heisig's Remembering the Kanji, all of it, all 2040 of it or something. So I've got a pretty firm foundation in kanji of what it means, obviously not what it sounds like in Japanese. So I'm pretty confident about that, but even through that, I wavered a little bit. Not as much through that. I was pretty steady every day learning them. That's how I still know them for the most part. But there were a few times, I'd say a handful, maybe 3 or 4 times, that I had stopped for a couple days, like 2 days. I never went like a week without doing it, because if I did, I probably wouldn't have remembered that many of them. So trying to gather, it's a long kind of story. And basically after that, that's kind of where I am now. I just, about a couple, I'd say half a month ago, I finished that book. But then I kind of wavered again, and didn't do as much immersion, and didn't do I've been reviewing it, obviously. I just want to kind of instill it. But after that, I've sort of wavered, and then now I really want to give it a good shot. And I think that it's kind of annoying to like want to do it, and then something comes up, you get distracted or whatnot, and then you just completely stop, which is bad. And for me, I think my personality, I have a very like semi-addictive personality. So if something like is there for me to do, I'll do it. So let's say like English videos for YouTube is there, I'll click on them, and then I'll just kind of watch them instead, and I'll neglect, right? So I think the biggest So I guess that's my history. Actually, I'm gonna segue. This will be a better segue. So the next point is where I want to be in 3 months. So this is a good segue point. Number one, the thing I want to set up, which I'm trying to do, is really set up a good immersion environment that is free or is virtually free of English distractions. So I'm doing that obviously on my PC and other devices and stuff like that. And I'll get into sort of the gear that I'm going to use that'll help understand what I'm using and how it'll help that immersion environment. So another point, I guess, where I want to be in 3 months. So obviously I've completed the kanji. I know hiragana and katakana, so I know the writing forms and I know the kanji on what they mean in English, right? I know what fire is. If I look at the symbol fire, I know what fire is. I know what it actually, the pronunciation, but for most of the kanji, I don't know the pronunciation, right? Or there are multiple pronunciations. So that is also kind of a goal, but really, to be honest, since I've neglected immersion as much, I mean, I've actually, most days I've listened to Japanese content for at least a couple hours. But as far as AJATT and MIA goes, that's not nearly enough, right? It's all the time, obviously, in AJATT, and it's definitely most of the day. So I'm gonna really hit 18 to 24 hours of immersive content, and that's the goal for, I think, the first 3 months. I think that's the biggest goal, obviously, is to get that figured out and to get a constant stream of content for all day and all night. Too, I'll be doing it while I sleep. I don't. Some people, it affects them when they sleep, having noise. It doesn't affect me at all. So I'll have that on all night as well. And I've done that previously. That's something that I've done before. Anything else that I kind of want to hit? I guess I'm not gonna rush into sentence mining as much. Obviously, there's a few things that I might do. There's Heisig's book Remembering the Kanji Volume 3, which Katz in AJATT says that some of it's viable, and I downloaded and I skimmed through it, and there are still some things that seem viable, some words that you're like, well, that actually would help. So I might go through and see which ones are the best and for me, and then pick them out and do them, right, and learn them, so that way I have a very good base of kanji. And I think even though I've been kind of neglecting it a bit, I'm obviously continuing to review it now. I am pretty good at memorizing things, so I've definitely have a good base in understanding kanji, which is good because it's so vast, the amount of characters. But so yeah, I think number one, building an immersive environment that is free from distractions, that you will not whatever, you start it and then a week later you're like, oh, I'm going to do this on YouTube, and then you watch a bunch of English content and you've kind of blown that. A sustainable immersive environment, not something that you do for a little bit and then you bail, right? Number two, again, probably I'd probably say a month and a half to 2 months in of this kind of 3 month interval, I'm going to do more sentence mining. I think this first month and a half, I'm going to really hit kanji some more and just really cement it, and just listen. A lot of more listening, because I don't think I have nearly enough listening hours, and reading hours as well, which also helps cement kanji as well. And yeah, let's see, anything else that I want to have in 3 months. No, I think really the first 3 to 6 months should be a mass base in immersion. I think other YouTubers say the same thing. So I'm gonna try and make this concise. We're at about 9.5 minutes, which is good. I didn't want to make this super long. Last thing I want to do is just run over some gear and tools I'll be using, as well as kind of the resources that the community for this has. There's a ton of resources, and it's good. It's really good. And it's also kind of hard at the same time, especially if you're not good at computers, because most of the resources are, programs, and a lot of people are very good at computers. I know my way around a computer, but I'm not a programmer, so a lot of this stuff's pretty complex. But it's just a matter of figuring it out, and I'm still kind of getting that. I'm still trying to figure out things like subs to SRS, combining MP3s, getting all, compressing a bunch of Japanese content into just spoken, so that way you're not wasting your time with no Japanese, right? You don't want to watch like an anime and have like, an eighth of it or something just be dead noise or music or whatever. It's not Japanese. So trying to maximize that time you have, right? So yeah. That's also a big deal. It's kind of daunting, but I'm trying to get through it, is trying to figure out all the resources online, which is great though. Once you do figure it out, there's so many resources that other language learners in different languages don't have. And I guess just that also reminded me that I didn't say before, been using Anki. That's the most common flashcard SRS decks that really work for the kanji deck, so I'm kind of know my way around the SRS. But again, all these add-ons I'm still kind of new to. So those are some of kind of the resources I'm trying to figure out. So some of the tools I'll be using, there's other videos. My favorite one obviously is Matt versus Japan's immersion tech tool things, whatever. Anyways, but I got most of that from his video, and I have a few things coming actually in the next half a week or so that'll really help. Actually, the most important things. But there's a few things here. Obviously, let's put it up here. Obviously, you need headphones. So these are just some regular like Sony $30 ones that actually work really well. They have good seals. I do have a pair of Apple ones that are they're good quality, obviously, the just wired $30 headphones, but Apple ones don't seal, and that's kind of annoying when you're in an area that's semi loud, and you have to really turn it up, so you don't obviously want to hurt your hearing. So I have those, and these are my over the ear headphones. These are like the Sony noise canceling headphones that are Bluetooth, and you can wire them as well. These are okay. These, I bought them for really cheap, and I bought them a while ago, but I do not like them a lot because they don't really noise cancel all that much. But they're not bad over-the-ear headphones just like that, and they're not bad for the price I bought them for. They're terrible for for their full price. They're not worth the full price. Don't buy them at full price. So yeah, those are okay, but what I am getting to replace those are the Bose Quiet Comfort Q25s. Those are the wired ones. I don't really care if it's wireless. The Q35s, which are the newest wireless ones, are like $350, and I just didn't want to spend that much money. But I got the Bose Quiet Comfort Q25s for about $150, which is way cheaper than normal. So I was like, okay, that's good enough price, and their noise canceling is unparalleled, obviously. So that's what I'm going to use for the most part. Also, another thing, the biggest deal, and I know this from experience, getting a dedicated MP3 player that just has Japanese content on it. I've been using my phone, and let me see, my phone has all other stuff on it, English and whatever and stuff like that, and it's also big and heavy, so when you're using it in your pocket, it's really cumbersome. So I would obviously highly recommend getting a dedicated MP3. They're super cheap now, obviously, because no one uses MP3 players anymore. But I'm getting an iPod Nano. I had that, oh god, like 6 years ago when I was a kid. They're super great, and they're super small, and they have a clip, and you can literally clip it to your pocket. It doesn't even have to be inside your pocket. You just clip it onto your pocket, which is great, and you can put other things in your pocket. It's small. I got mine in a 16 gig, which is more than enough. You can get it in 8 gig. So you can play all the audio you want, really, and you can download, obviously, anime episodes in MP3, music, all that stuff. That's what I'm going to get, and that's really going to help, because it really limits the distractions, and it keeps everything separate. You don't have to, like, shuffle around, like, unplug your headphone in your phone, take calls or text or whatever. You can just have something dedicated with headphones, and you don't want to use it, take it out, put it in whenever you want, all day. And it's dedicated. It's not something that you need to utilize for multiple functions, which is great. Last thing. Well, this is also something that Matt versus Japan he recommended, and it's something that is actually really helpful. This I actually have in the bag, but this is a Nenrent. It's a Bluetooth headphone, and it comes with just one headphone, which is the good part, because it's really meant for like super kind of stealthy. It's meant for like in the car when you're taking calls, but it's skin colored. Let me get that in the camera. It's skin colored and it's really small, and it's just one, and I'll put it in, and it's Bluetooth obviously, but as you can see, it's pretty if you have like a beanie over your head, which he does, it's pretty hard to see obviously, and it's just for stuff that maybe you don't want to just have headphones and maybe it seems rude. Maybe if you go to class or whatnot, it's just a nice little stealthy thing you can have, and you know, whatever. It's really cheap. It's like 20 bucks on Amazon. It's super cheap. Lastly, some of the gear that I use, and this is actually probably one of the most helpful resources as well, because I don't like wearing headphones all day. It kind of hurts your ears and whatnot, or stuff like that, or hurts your head with the over-the-ear ones, is a Bluetooth speaker. This is a Sony one, and this one costs like 70, 80 bucks. And that's kind of expensive, but it's a pretty quality one. It's crazy how much speakers cost. You can get really cheap ones, and then you can get pretty expensive ones. There's no in-between really. But this one is Bluetooth, and also has an aux port, so if you don't have like a phone, or if you have something that doesn't actually connect to Bluetooth, you can just use an aux cord. Yeah, and this thing's really helpful. This is probably the best tool because I can use it. It's waterproof as well. I haven't tested it. I mean, I'm not gonna submerge it, but it like if you're in the shower and like water hits it, it's not, does nothing. So I use this in the shower. When I sleep, I put this at pretty low volume right next to my head. Works great. Generally, anytime that I'm on the computer and I don't want to like listen to it in headphones, I'll just put this right next to me, and it works really well. But I'll be using this a lot, so in the near future, I'll kind of tell you guys if this is worth it, because I didn't get a warranty, and I'm really mad that I didn't, because I don't know how. Like I've been using this a lot, like hours and hours and hours all day and all night. So I'll have it on the charger all night. It'll be charging, and obviously when you charge devices, it's not good for the devices. So, you know, I don't know how long this thing will last. So only time will tell, and obviously if it breaks, I have to get a new one, but it's good information for you guys if you want to buy this. But overall, I probably used it, oh God, at least like 300 hours, a lot of hours, and it's worked fine. It's worked perfect. So it's a good speaker, I guess. But yeah, so that's basically it. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to kind of figure out. So yeah, like I said, these will be in like 3-month intervals. This is the first day one in parentheses. Next one will be 3 months from now. It is March 22nd, 2020. So what's that? April, May, June 22nd, I guess. And then I'll obviously do 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, and then maybe more down the road. How long this, you know, I was thinking of doing a year and see where I'm at. But obviously I think it takes longer than a year. I've been doing it not fully for about a half a year. So I mean, it's really kind of just a starting over. I'm not really going to count that, because even though I did do quite a bit, like compared to like if I was supposed to do that in like my normal college class, that would be, you know, far more than I needed to do, right? The amount of hours you do in a Japanese class, it's not enough. It's none. And the amount of homework hours you do is not nearly enough, right? So in comparison to that, which is not saying much, I did a lot, but I clearly didn't do a lot. I didn't follow the method or the methods. I would say AJATT / mass immersion / whatever method, these different methods on the internet. It's just doing it. It's just immersion, basically. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna like follow to a T like a certain one. I think things from AJATT are good. I think things from the mass immersion approach are good. I think things from other people are good. So I'm just gonna. I haven't read all of AJATT and I haven't read all of mass immersion. So in this week, I'm gonna read through all those table of contents, especially the mass immersion, because that has a lot to do with learning all the Anki and different add-on resources that I don't know anything about. So I'm gonna do that. So yeah, I'm just this is mainly for me. If anyone watches it, that's fine. I don't know why you just watched me ramble for 20 minutes, but that's all right. But this is mainly for me, and regardless of, let's say I just like bail, I'm just like whatever. Um, I bailed for like a month or a week or a couple weeks. I'm gonna tell, or even if I bail, I'm still gonna post a video. 3 months, 6 months, or whenever I bail, the next milestone, I'm gonna post a video and tell me and you guys, if anyone is watching, why I bailed, why I didn't, what caused it, and obviously there's gonna be goods and bads. There's not gonna be like 100%. I'm gonna do everything great. So the things that I don't do right, I'm gonna tell you guys, and so that way, if anyone wants to watch this, they can kind of not do what I did to mess up, right? Um, so yeah, basically that's it. I just wanted to kind of lay out my thoughts to myself for the most part, so that way I'm really committed and getting all this figured out, and to anyone else who wants to watch. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in about 3 months, and we'll update and see what's going on. See you later.